Hello, my name is Jacob Webster, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the Burmese python. They're originally from Southeast Asia, but a lot of Americans thought of them as sort of exotic pets, so they brought them over in the 70s and 80s. And when Hurricane Andrew hit, a lot of them were released into the wild and began breeding, which their breeders didn't know, but they can breed in almost any climate. And the climate of South Florida is a lot like the climate of Southeast Asia, so these animals just took off breeding. They can live around 20 years of age, which is sort of a long time for a snake, but they can also grow between 6 and 9 feet in length. The largest one found in Florida, of course, is 18 feet. So in Florida, they can get anywhere between 9 and 18 feet, which is an incredibly long specimen. So they are typically gray in color and they have a leopard pattern with a white underbelly. They have a rounded nose with two slits for nostrils. They have thin cheeks, unlike the thick cheeks that you would see on, say, a venomous snake. They are non venomous, but they are constrictors. They eat anything from alligators to small birds to dogs to even small children. They only eat about 3 times a year, and they are, traditionally docile animals. They can live in trees and in water. They can be found hanging from branches or swimming through creeks. As you can see in this picture in the bottom, they can be seen as a brown streak through the water, much like a shark is seen as a gray streak through the ocean. They are not amphibious, but they can hold their breath for up to 30 minutes, which is about as long as a whale, believe it or not. So they can come up for air maybe, once every 30 minutes, but stay underwater for hours and hours during the day and night. They don't really have many natural predators to Florida or in Florida. When they're younger, most of their predators are large birds, things like that nature, things that eat their eggs. But as they grow older and get bigger, the only real predator that they have is themselves. They are the second largest snake in the United States, second only to the anaconda. So they pose a real threat to the ecosystem. And that is all for me. Seth, take it away.
Hello everyone, my name is Seth. Jacob should have just explained to you what the Burmese python is, how big it is, what it looks like, and where it's from. I'm going to be explaining to you why the Burmese python is a major issue in the state of Florida. So first off, they do pose a minor risk to Florida residents and their pets. So if you let your dog or cat out and you live sort of near the Everglades, you need to be a little bit careful. Burmese pythons' heads might only be about this big, but they can eat anything up to about this big. So any dog or cat is definitely a prey item for the Burmese python. But again, if your dog or cat is not out in the Everglades, they will probably not encounter any Burmese pythons. Same thing goes for small children. As long as you don't let your 4-year-old or younger out into the Everglades, it should really not be an issue. The main issue that Burmese pythons are creating is significant damage to the ecosystem of Florida. So currently they're eating small mammals and birds. The United States Geological Survey is citing a study that they conducted from 1997 to 2012 in which they found that 99.3% of raccoons, 98.9% of possums, and 87.5% of bobcats have been eliminated in that time frame. So this is just a couple of species that they're listing, but this is also occurring with rats and rabbits in the Everglades. So not only are Burmese pythons competing and eliminating the smaller prey items, but they're also competing with the predators themselves. One of the most famous predators in the Everglades is the American alligator. Some prey items are shared by the Burmese python and the alligator. So if those prey items are being eliminated, that's less prey for the alligator, which will hurt their population. And put extra pressure on the animals that are not shared between the Burmese python and the American alligator. So one of the issues with being an invasive species is that there are no natural predators of the Burmese python in the Everglades. So Michael Kirkland is an invasive animal biologist at the South Florida Water Management District, and in an interview with Deutsche Welle, He basically says that yes, American alligators will eat a Burmese python, but it doesn't regularly occur. They have seen pictures of it, and it can also go both ways, as you can see in this picture of a Burmese python eating an alligator. So some would argue, well, why does this really matter? Who cares if the Burmese pythons are in the Everglades, because most people don't live in the Everglades. The issue is they will destroy the ecosystem in the Everglades, and the United States Geological Survey is arguing that they can progress northward. There's been a counter study, however, by Dr. Pyron and Dr. Burbrink, who are both professional biologists. They wrote a study called Claims of Potential Expansion Throughout the U.S. by Invasive Python Species Are Contradicted by Ecological Niche Models, which they wrote in 2008. This study basically says that the climate is too different north of the Everglades for Burmese pythons to successfully survive. So it's a little bit up in the air if they're going to keep moving, but regardless, they need to be stopped before the entire ecosystem is destroyed. Now Max is going to be explaining how you can personally help solve this problem and protect your family and your small pets.
Hi, my name is Max Kadich, and I'm going to cover statewide and at-home solutions for handling Burmese pythons. Currently, there is one main statewide solution, and that is humane killings. This is due to the python being an invasive species, similar to your common weed. Counties can now hire python removal agents that work for the local government or citizens that are trained to help eliminate pythons. South Florida Water Management District stated in its 2020 python removal agent guidelines that a minimum wage hourly of up to 10 hours will be paid. An additional incentive payment of $50 for each python measuring up to 4 feet, plus an extra $25 for each foot measured above 4 feet. An additional $200 for each eliminated python found guarding nests with eggs. I'll now cover the at-home solutions that matters most to you, your family, as you move into this new environment. Keep your yard maintained, meaning the grass should be cut to a healthy height, just a few inches, and any unneeded debris should be removed from the yard. Additionally, the Florida Wildlife and Fish Conservation allows for private individuals to kill pythons, if willing, on property as of 2019. This can be done under the listed humane killing guidelines, which includes use of a captive bolt gun, a firearm with snake shot, or decapitation. For parents and pet owners, never leave your pet or child unattended. Make sure that an adult is always with them. Make sure you keep your kids and pets close. With pets, keep them on a short leash. And if possible, you can fence in your yard to help limit the chance of pythons entering your yard. To conclude, pythons are gray in color with brown circles on their body and white bellies, and this will help you recognize them. Pythons pose many personal threats to your kids and pets as they are dangerous, and they also pose many environmental threats as they are messing up Florida's ecosystem as we know it. A study done in 2011 by Michael Dorcas, professor of biology at Davidson University, stated that Burmese pythons from the population currently established in Florida are capable of withstanding conditions substantially cooler than what we typically experience in Florida. This is important because Florida is an almost perfect environment for the Burmese python, which is why it is a continued problem. Currently, statewide solutions include humane killings by qualified individuals, and your at-home solutions include maintenance of your yard and precautions when it comes to you or your pets. As you now know, Burmese pythons are a serious threat to Florida's ecosystem, and out of 2017, 3,500 pythons have been eliminated, and I'm asking you to do your part. Thank you for listening, and welcome to the state of Florida.